So what I want to share with you guys today is a fear that I have. Right? A fear that is always on my mind. That it's something that I really had um, took over me in many ways years ago, and it was one of the things where I was working and grinding away at everything I could possibly do, facing burnout every 4 to 6 months, and then looking back and really looking at my results, taking a look at my finances, looking at my relationships, looking at my physical health, my mental health, and so much more, and realizing, am I giving it my all? That is a fear that's always in the back of my mind. Did I give it my all? Did I go 100? Do I go 110? All the fancy phrases that are out there. And it's one of the things where in my life, I look back and it's like, I was I really doing it? And then what I would do is have a gut check. And here's my gut check. Okay. This is how I know if I'm living my life the way I need to. And there's two ways, there's many ways you can do this. You can look at it from a business perspective, and so forth. But these are the two easiest ways. You cannot logically you can't, it's just what it's going to be. And this is, and please excuse one of them, because actually a mentor of mine gave me this idea. And I'm like, well, that's really great. So I use it and I'm like, okay, got some work to do here. Number one, your money. Where's your bank account? Where's your bank account at? And what's the assets that you have? Or if it's not just bank account, because some people have different strategies, what about also assets? If they're not where they want to be, you're not giving 100%. You're just not. You're giving maybe 10 to 15, maybe 20%. I know in my life, it was roughly around 25 to 30%. And I had all this room to grow. And I started to realize, man, what am I missing here? And it really hit home for me just a few months ago. I'll share something on a physical health, so physical health, your body. One of my mentors said, if you think you're in great shape, or if you think that you're really working towards having really good physical health, go jump in front of a mirror naked and they'll determine it. And I was like, yep, can't argue that one. Can't argue. That's what it's going to be. Well, my moment happened where in December, January, actually, beginning of this year, January, I was going to get some blood work done for some life insurance. And in the questionnaires, they're like, well, how much do you weigh? And I'm like, I don't know, 25, 225, 230. I'm like, that's usually where I ride myself at. And, she's like, does your weight ever fluctuate? I'm like, no, it's usually right there. It doesn't change much. And so all of a sudden, I go to the lab, get my blood work done, and I got to stand on this scale. Now, just to let you know, I did have a hoodie on, some sweatpants, and some big old shoes, gym shoes, and they didn't ask me to take these things off. And I was like, these could be a couple pounds here. But she's like, it's fine, no worries. So I jump on, I get on the scale. She's like, sir, you weigh 247 and a half. I'm like, whoa, how much do I weigh? And she's like, 247 and a half. And now in my head, I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm doing some new workouts, but I haven't been consistent in the last 5 weeks. I've been eating like a champ, but my diet's always consistent. My diet's there. But here's where the fight, the main effort, right? This is what I'm going to talk about here, because all of a sudden I shifted gears massively, and I got into a very strict workout protocol and really putting my 100% effort in. Now I'm being 100% real with my physical health, and it's one of the things where I actually put on an extra 3 more pounds, but my fat body percentage has dropped 7% in the last 2 months, and it's because of the efforts, right? So I look at my bank accounts, same thing. I start looking at my assets that I'm accumulating. I start looking at my relationships. I start looking at all these things, right? Look at your relationships. See where it's at. If you're not excited about your relationship and you're not in that state, I'm not saying honeymoon state. Forget that. What I'm talking about is excited about your relationship. You see your spouse, you see your partner, you're excited to be with them. It's that moment where you're going to gel. It's not like, oh, here they are again. And I'm really blessed to have the wife I have, because she's always excited every morning for the day to see me, to enjoy a nice, even if it's, if in the mornings, I'm the driver. I want to go and get going for my day. And she teaches me to slow it down. Like, spend 20, 30 minutes, have a cup of tea or have my mushroom tea with her and just enjoy the morning. And it helps me to slow down, right? But it's looking at these aspects. And the more you get real with yourself, the more you're going to get the real results of what you want. You're going to get the life that you desire. So you really want to take a moment and really look at, how are you living your life? Are you living in your life where you're giving it 100%? Because let me tell you something. Here is a law that will prove this if you are or if you're not. This supports it all. And I'll leave it at this. The law of focus states that when you put your focus to anything, energy is going to magnify that, which is going to give you then the reality of what that's going to happen. It's going to manifest this into the physical existence. This is just the law of focus. You can call this 5-dimensional living. There's all these different terms for that, but it's the law of focus. This is why I'm saying If you're not putting 100% effort into something, you don't get the results. Look at your bank account, look at your practice, look at your business, look at your relationships, look at your physical health, look at your mental health. How are you seeing challenges? How are you facing challenges when they show up? Are you letting them defeat you or are you letting them teach you? There's a massive difference between those two. And I can go in so much more, but I want to leave that with you guys because that's something that reminded me. And it's something I've been really working on in the last couple months now, how just being present in the moment and giving my energy there. And what I have seen just in a couple months, just for my physical health, right? I tested it out with my physical health. And now all of a sudden I'm like, wow, this is great. But the key thing is it's not about like competing or comparing. It's about just what's best for me because I love my body and I work out and I train and I take care of myself because I love it. I want it to be as young as it possibly can be. And then when I get older, I want to disprove everybody who says when you get older you're gonna have to lose out on things. And I'm gonna be like, no, I'm gonna be that person who's gonna be the opposite of that. And so look at your life in every element and challenge yourself. Start giving 100%. Because if you're not where you want to be, you're not doing it. And it's just the law of focus. Law of focus says states all this. And if you understand this principle and you start to learn to be present, this is how I help clients massively transform their life faster than they could ever imagine. Right? And the only reason why some take longer than others is because they're not fully investing in. So I hope you all have an amazing day and look forward to talking to you again soon.